Good morning. Welcome to Chipping Basics with Sean Fagan Golf Academy. Chipping is perhaps my favorite part of the game. So I wanted to share with you 5 techniques that are going to help you to be more consistent with your chipping. Most golfers that I see have a few fundamental issues with chipping. Like anything with golf, if you want to get good at chipping, get consistent, it's going to require at least a couple of motions or movements that may not be what feels natural right away. Now, there's a few things that most golfers will do, probably instinctually. So one of them being the stab. Okay, this is when we come up and you come right down to the ball and you kind of stop right at the ball. We stab at it. Okay, that's one way of trying to control our distance and things like that. Another thing that I see people do is getting too wristy. Too much wrist action. You know, you're breaking your wrists. Not really what you want to be doing when you're putting. Even this way, you don't want to be doing that, because then you're going to be relying on your precision. You're trying to finesse the ball to a particular spot rather than trusting what you know and what you have practiced, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. So we're getting too wristy with it, and through impact too, I think we do that, which brings up the third point that I see people do, which is they try to sweep it. You try to sweep it off the ground. That makes you come up, and you're going to be very inconsistent. That's where you're going to get most of your sculled chips. That's where a skull is when you hit with the leading edge of your club right there. Boom. And it just causes the ball to launch. It's also going to cause a lot of chunks as well when you're digging in behind the ball. Okay, so getting wristy and trying to sweep the ball is going to be very inconsistent. You do not want to sweep the ball or scoop it at all. Okay, and then the last one is a problem with all swings, is when that left arm is not straight. So people kind of doing this, and combine them all, you're going to be very inconsistent with your chipping. So here's 5 techniques that are going to help you to become much more consistent. Remember, like anything, this is going to require your practice as well. You're going to need to do a lot of reps, especially in the beginning as you're trying these out, to get a feel for for how they feel. Number 1, this is the easy one. Keep your weight forward. Weight on your front foot. So I'm right-handed. My weight's going to be on my left foot. Okay? Not all of it, of course. In chipping, I hear a lot of folks are saying about 55, 60%. Sometimes I even go a little more exaggerated, especially when we're practicing, and say maybe 70, 75% of your weight should feel like it's on your front foot. You shouldn't totally be able to lift your foot and balance, but you should be pretty close there. Your stance, just keep it about shoulder width, maybe even a little more narrow when you're practicing, right? But weight on your front foot. This is really going to help. And by the way, topic for a different chipping lesson, but where should you put the ball in your stance? Either in the front or in the back. And by that I mean kind of the inside of your back foot or the inside of your front foot. This is where the ball should be positioned in your stance. For practicing, especially when you're starting out with chipping, when you're still learning and practicing these in the beginning, put it closer to your back foot. Okay? When you're chipping, you never hit it out of the middle of your stance. Kind of a general rule. Okay? So I'm going to practice this morning just with the ball just inside my back foot. That's where I'm going to be. But remember that your weight should be on your front leg. Boom. Weight on the front leg. That's really going to help you right away. Weight on the front foot. Number 2, straight left arm. Don't you ever bend that left arm when you after you've addressed the ball when you're chipping. Okay? This left arm should be straight. Because we are not putting a full swing on this, your left arm is never going to have a reason to bend. Never. Keep that left arm straight. And the best way for me to also illustrate this that's going to help you is left arm straight and be one with your club. Your club and your left arm should form a straight line, okay? Or pretty close to it. And it should not really break, okay? So straight left arm, and keep that club in line with that left arm, okay? We're gonna go over the wrists in just a second. You can hinge them just a little bit on that backswing, but on the forward swing, you may not break those wrists, okay? So you keep that left arm straight and try to keep that club as an extension of your left arm, okay? Do some of these reps. Try to feel very robotic and keep your weight distributed on your front foot the whole time. Okay, if you're swaying back and forth, stop yourself. Well, no, reset. Go back to your front foot and just do this. Then try to lighten your grip a little bit without breaking your wrists. If you're doing this, your grip's too light, nice and firm. There we go. Number 3, accelerate through impact. Our instinct is to decelerate through impact. That's what I think we all naturally want to do. And it's hard. We're trying to, as I already said, we're trying to finesse the ball onto a particular spot. And so we come back, we're maybe about this far, we think, and we're just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's the speed. And you can't, you're not obviously thinking all this consciously, but our instinct is to kind of decelerate through the swing to try and place the ball. We are not placing the ball. We have to swing right through it. So accelerate through impact. One of the best ways to practice this, I think, is to think consciously about as far back as you go, that's as far forward as your club should go. This will help you with that stab. You cannot stop closer to the ball than where the club was at its highest point in the backswing. So if you're back here, your club cannot stop until you're at least there. You can go a little farther if you need, but for consistency, again, as you accelerate through, try and keep it, as if you're gonna go this far back, boom, you're gonna come this far forward. That will help you with your acceleration. And so if you're hitting a long chip, I'll be honest, you go back this far, if you're accelerating through impact, you get kind of a big chip out of that. You can hit the ball a decent ways for a chip just by doing that. You think of some of the players on tour, Tony Finau or John Rahm, their backswings don't even seem to go back that far, okay? So it's not about how big you cock that back. It's about being able to have a good tempo and accelerate through the ball. So most of these chips you're gonna hit, these short 5-10 yard chips, you're probably just going back about like that. Accelerate through. Accelerate through impact, and that's it. Okay? So weight forward, left arm straight with the club, accelerate through. So as far back, that's as far forward as you need to go. Number 4, hit down to the ball. You cannot sweep the ball off the ground and you cannot hit up on the ball. This is chipping, and you're going to be using a wedge most of the time. Even if you're using a 5-wood or 5-iron or something like that and making some really long aggressive chip, the same principle still applies. Especially with a wedge, consider the loft of your club. Even if you hit the ball somehow like this, with your club so far downward, that loft is still going to pick the ball up off the ground if you hit down on it. Golf's a game of opposites. If you hit down, it's going to go up. But if you hit up, it's going to go down. Okay? We can't swing upwards. We're going to hit that sculled shot again. We want to be coming down to the ball. Boom. And think about pinching the ball. Pinch the ball between your club and the grass. That's one way that will really help you to hit down on the ball as you accelerate through. It's going to go down, hit the ball first, then the grass, and the ball's going to pop up naturally because of the loft of your club. So hit down on that ball. So weight forward, straight left arm, one with the club, as far back, that's as far forward, so we're accelerating through, and as we accelerate through, we hit down. Down. Okay? Try and hit the ball first. Pinch the ball between your club and the grass. And number 5, that I've already said, and it's so important as you're learning to chip, as you're trying to get this consistency. Number 5, do not break your wrists, especially after impact. From years of practice, my chipping stroke, I think I'm going to be hinging my wrists a little bit on the way back, but even that's kind of big. I don't recommend you do that. I recommend you get a little kind of rigid, Bryson DeChambeau-ish, if you will, and really practice with the robotic swing, trying to keep your wrists locked the whole time. And as you start to get better, you can start loosening up just a little bit, because eventually with golf, after you put in your thousands, tens of thousands, millions of reps, and you have that muscle memory, that's when we can start to feel a little bit more. But before then, sadly, sometimes golf just requires those reps, and you just have to trust the process with this. So trust that robotic swing for a little bit. If you're doing everything else that I've been saying, you're going to start hitting more consistent chips. One other thing that I didn't mention that's going to be required of you is to kind of keep your head still, and that goes for pretty much any shot, because this isn't going to work if you're coming up and down, or whatever, down and up. That's not going to work. Even if you try to hit down on the ball and you're popping up, it's going to be inconsistent. So just whatever swing you're doing, try to keep that head perfectly still. If you're doing these techniques and still finding that you're having trouble, it could be that. It could be a lot of things, because it's golf. It's very unnatural sometimes. May be evidenced by this video. Okay? So, we'll put them together. Weight forward. Straight left arm with the club. I'm going to accelerate through impact as I hit down through the ball. And I will not break my wrists. Let's just put a couple. I'm just going to try and poke them out just 5 yards here. One note for your chipping practice. Now, as you are practicing this, you'll probably be on a green somewhere if you're at a course, but practicing in your front yard or just any other grass field or whatever, that might even be better because of what I'm about to tell you. Our instinct, of course, so when you're chipping, you're going to have holes to choose from. Which hole are you going to chip to? I say don't do that. Don't chip to a hole. What you need to start practicing on first is getting the ball to land where you want it to land. So as you're chipping, pick a spot where you want the ball to hit. And if you can get the ball within, it depends how far away it is, right? But within a couple inches of that spot, or if it's a little farther away, within a foot or two, you're doing great. And that's what you need to be focused on before you start measuring out how the ball's going to roll to the hole. And of course, as you probably already know, the cut of grass is going to make a difference. When you're first practicing, I'd say find a little bit thicker grass, a little bit more of the rough. It's going to be a lot easier to practice these techniques when you have a tight lie, where the ball doesn't have much between itself and the earth in terms of grass or otherwise. You're hitting off of a really firm fairway or something like that. That's going to be a lot harder initially to practice, although eventually that's probably going to be what you prefer once you get the consistency of being able to make that good contact. So practice everywhere, practice all kinds of shots, but in the beginning, putting it on the rough is always something that I recommend. It'll help you get started and be more consistent. So let's just try and hit the tee. I don't care where the ball rolls out to, I just want to hit the tee. Now remember, especially in the beginning, your distance is probably not going to be quite right, and you're going to be trying to be fixing your distance in the moment. To fix your distance, you got to change how far back your club is going. That's about it. Try it like this, accelerate through. Not enough? Try it like this, accelerate through. So your distance control, Just remember, you're not using your wrists, you're not trying to finesse the ball. Do not finesse this. Do not try and be fancy and do something with it. You're just sticking to the techniques. Back, accelerate through. There you have it. Happy chipping.